Hello to you watching. So this is going to be a new series on my channel. I got this idea from Katey Unfiltered. I'll have the video linked down below so you can check her out. The idea. I kind of wanted to start watching a TV show that is no longer on and do a recap the next morning while I'm doing my makeup. And so Katey Unfiltered, she does Grey's Anatomy. So if you want to go back and relive the fun that is Grey's Anatomy, check her out because she's done 2 so far. She's planning episode 3 soon. So you're not far behind if you want to get on that. My TV show, as you can tell by the title, is going to be Walking Dead. Because what's more beauty makeup than zombies? I mean, to be fair, maybe I'll do a zombie makeup one of the episodes just to say I did it. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, keep watching because I'm about to recap episode 1 while doing my makeup. Okay, so episode 1, I'm almost out of foundation, starts with our main character, who we'll find out his name is Rick, driving and then walking to a gas station because apparently his vehicle has run out of gas and he needs to get gas. But so he's walking along the highway and there are abandoned cars everywhere and you're not really sure what's happening. It's very quiet. I think for most of it, you don't even see his face. You just see his feet and him carrying the gas can. So you don't even know it's him until they pan up and you see his face. But he is a sheriff and it is evident by his outfit. He is wearing a sheriff's outfit. And so he gets to the gas station and you see that there's no gas, there's no people, there's no one around. And so but then he sees a little girl. And this little girl, you don't see her face. She's just walking there. And I think she's carrying a teddy bear and she's just walking very slowly. And you're like, why is a tiny human alone without their owner? And so he yells out to the little girl and the little girl finally turns around and you see she's a zombie. And does he shoot her? I think he shoots her to put her out of her misery. So, oh yeah, he definitely shoots her. Yeah. So he shoots the little girl and then they cut away and you are now, as you find out in a little bit, in a flashback. You're back in time. And it's Rick, our main character, and his partner in the force talking about lady issues. And they're talking about their old ladies in the car while eating burgers and waiting for a police call to come in. And while they're talking, you find out that our main character, Rick, is married and has a kid. Kid's name is Carl. I don't remember the wife's name yet. But yeah, so he's got a family and he's talking to his bachelor, serial dater, partner. And then they get a call saying there's a police chase and that they're being called as backup to stop the people that are carrying on this police chase. And so you see them go off and set up some of the spikes that stop the cars on the road, the tire shredders, and set up and get ready to stop the car that's running away from the cops. Car comes around, hits the tire shredders, does a bunch of flips, lots of car crash scene, and you see two bad guys get out of the car and start shooting at the cops, and the cops shoot back at them, and the cops kill them. And then, like, Rick had gotten shot, but it hit him in the vest. So he's, like, on the ground and, like, oh, I almost died there. And his partner is like, well, you're going to be okay because they hit you in the vest, and it's all going to be good. And then, next thing you know, a third guy comes out of the car and shoots Rick, and it, like, actually hits him, and, like, he's fighting for his life. And you're like, how could you kill the main character this soon? Well, we know he doesn't die because he's the main character. Okay. So he's almost dead. And then you get, next scene is a hospital room where his partner is showing up and bringing him flowers. But he's, like, in and out, and it's very fuzzy, and he doesn't really comprehend what's happening. And after the partner is done talking, Rick responds, but you find out Rick is responding and no one's there. His partner's not there anymore. He was, like, unconscious, and the partner's not there. He's all alone. Wow. The partner had brought him flowers when he came to visit. So you see Rick turn over and see the flowers on the nightstand of the hospital bed, and they're dead. They're, like, dried out. The flowers are dead. They're crumbling on the ground. And you're like, oh man, how much time has passed? That is the question. And so Rick realizes this, that, like, the flowers are dead. How long have I been out? And he, like, falls out of the hospital bed and stumbles out in the hallway, and the hospital is deserted. No one's there. And from there, he's, like, walking around the hospital. He sees a couple dead bodies, and he's like, oh my God, what's happening? And he sees a locked door that says, dead inside, don't open, and starts to see, like, fingers come through the doors. So he, understandably, runs away because that's terrifying, and runs into a stairwell, and it's all dark, and so he's using, like, a match to try to get out, and he finally finds an exit. And when he exits, he is blinded by the light, and he is on the, like, receiving bay of a hospital, and there's a whole bunch of dead bodies, tons and tons of dead bodies. And it's at this point that I realized that watching this during a pandemic, not necessarily the best time to be watching Walking Dead, but yeah, that's what I've decided. That's what's happening. Okay. And so he, like, is stumbling out. He's, like, petrified because there's all these dead bodies, and he doesn't know where any humans are. And he is, like, walking for a while in his, like, hospital gown and boxers, and he finds a bike. But there is a zombie, which they call walkers. So if I call them walkers at any point, they're calling them walkers. But this one isn't walking because it doesn't have legs. Scares the poop out of him. He gets on the bike and bikes to his home, like where his wife and child hopefully are. That's what he's hoping anyway. Well, he gets there. No one's there. He is, like, distraught. So he, like, mopes on, after, like, running around the house looking for wife and child, he mopes on the front step, and you see in the distance a walker coming towards him, but he's so, like, unconsolable, he doesn't see what's happening. There's also someone coming up behind him, and he doesn't see it because, of course, he's, like, devastated. Well, he gets banged upside the head by a small child wielding a shovel, and the child is like, I got one. And so you realize in that moment that, oh, look, actual humans that can speak, but they think Rick is a walker. That's why they were on the verge of killing him. The father takes pity on him, hears him say actual words and decides that like he's still alive and not a walker. So he brings him in. He passes out again. Time jump. The father and son explain as much as they can what has happened, in the sense that people get sick and get this fever and then they die, but then they don't stay dead. They come back and they're pretty docile, but they get riled up when there's food in the area. So like fresh human, or loud noises gets them. And so, this father and son has been hunkered down, and you find out that the reason they haven't moved on is because the wife was infected and is still out there as a walker. And of course, they're dealing with all sorts of grief with that, which I can't even begin to imagine. So you have that unfortunate time. Let me see what else. So, Rick gets that, like, they all three of them go to the police station. Rick gets in his quintessential sheriff's outfit, which you see a lot over the next episodes and such. That's like his uniform, specifically his uniform. I see. He also arms the father and son with like guns from the police station. And he takes his own guns as well. And they part ways because he hears that Atlanta is where everyone's going, because that's where a refugee camp is. That's where the CDC is. And like everyone is going to Atlanta. So that's Rick's plan. He's hoping that his family has also gone to Atlanta, and he's going to meet up with his family in Atlanta. And so Rick drives off in his police cruiser towards Atlanta, and the father and son go back to the house where the father has intention of killing his wife, but he can't bring himself to do it, which makes total sense. Like, no fault on his part. Like, that's a hard thing, trying to kill someone you love, even if it's no longer who they are. So Rick finds himself outside, like, calling on the radio, trying to find anyone else. And you see a local camp of refugees can hear him on a radio, but he can't hear them. They try calling him back and it's not working. But at that point, you also see that in this refugee camp is his old partner, the one that helped, that brought him flowers in the hospital. And they were talking about lady issues. And after you meet a couple of those characters, you go back to Carl, and he's looking at his visor, and you see a picture of his family, and you find out his wife and child are in that camp of like refugees, and that she kissed his partner. So it's a little like, what's the partner doing? He must assume that Rick is dead, but now we've got a love triangle happening if Rick ever does find this cast of characters. But yeah. What's next? Okay, so Carl stops at nope, not Carl. Carl is the kid. Rick stops at a farmhouse and tries to look for gas, but he finds that the couple that owns the farmhouse killed themselves because, of course, zombies. And there's no gas. So instead, he takes a horse. So now you've got Rick on horseback riding into Atlanta like a cowboy, which is a fun image. Okay, so Rick goes into Atlanta. He doesn't find people like he was hoping. He finds a whole bunch of walkers, like lots of walkers. And he shoots one, which, gets all of their attention. Oh, also there's a helicopter that he sees and hears. So he's like, there are humans in the area. But he gets swarmed by walkers and gets knocked off his horse, and the horse dies, which is terrible. That part's really bloody, so if you're not into gore, you probably don't want to watch that part. I really gotta stop saying I'm gonna work on it. It'll be okay. So he is swarmed upon by all of the walkers, and you think, how the heck is he gonna get out of this? Because he's obviously the main character, so he needs to survive. So how's he gonna get out of it? Well, he ends up in a tank. He has to shoot the soldier walker that's in the tank. So that's fun. And then after he's in the tank for a little bit and he's like locked in and all the walkers are like banging on the tank trying to get at him, you hear on the radio a voice that's like, now what are you gonna do, soldier? Yeah, you in the tank. So someone was watching him get swarmed and watched him crawl into the tank and knows he's in there. So who's the guy on the radio? Is he ever gonna get reunited with his child and wife? How did all of this happen? And that's the first episode. And I feel like I missed things. But all in all, this is based on a comic book. I'm sorry, talking and trying to do a wing is very difficult. Based on a comic book. I never read the comic book. I have seen, I think, at least 2 of the seasons. So, like, I know kind of what's happening, but I didn't finish watching. So I think we're going to get to a point, if I keep doing these videos, that I'm going to be like, I have no idea what's going to happen next. But my goal is to watch an episode a night, or every few nights, and record this while I'm doing my makeup. I warned my boyfriend that I would be talking to myself while doing my makeup. So if this is something that's interesting to you, feel free to subscribe and keep watching, and maybe you can watch along with me. I mean, it's on Netflix. I'll reiterate, Katey Unfiltered is doing Grey's Anatomy. So if you don't like gore or zombies, you can always follow romance and doctors. Well, I guess there's still gore in that one. But yeah, you can follow her while she does that. But other than some lipstick, I'm almost done for the day. And it took a lot less time than I was expecting. Let me put on my lipstick and then I'll say goodbye to you and we'll be good. Also, if you didn't notice, I do mostly makeup videos on this channel. And so this is kind of a combination of 2 things I like, horror and makeup. And so, yeah. This was episode 1. Stay tuned for episode 2 through the rest of the series. Thanks for watching. Bye.